Okay, Kitchener-Waterloo, Cambridge isn't in a crash. It's not in a rebound either. It's actually in something much more interesting. We're living through one of the biggest housing resets Canada has seen in over 50 years. And these three cities are right in the middle of all that reset. Prices have already adjusted. Inventory looks very different depending on the property type you own, and the confidence, not interest rates, is the real thing holding people back. So this update is an exclusive collaboration between some of the top real estate YouTubers across Canada, the GTA, and parts of the US. If you're interested in hearing what's happening in key markets across Canada, GTA, and such, I have the videos tagged in the description box below. So you're looking for more than just the basic stats. These are the channels you want to check out next. In this video, I'll break down what's actually happening in Kitchener, Waterloo, and Cambridge, what it means if you're buying or selling in 2026, and where the real opportunities are hiding for you. So before we get into the detail, let's zoom out for a moment before we zoom back into the Tri-Cities, because what we're living through right now isn't just a local slowdown. It's one of the most significant housing resets Canada has seen in many, many decades. Big picture, prices have already adjusted nationally. Home prices are down about 18% from the peak of 2022. And that makes this the steepest house price decline in the last 50 years. And that's important context to keep in mind while I take you through this market update, because the adjustment has already happened. This isn't a market that's just starting to fall. It's one that's already absorbed a lot of the bad news for the last 3.5 years. And here's the key part. Ontario markets, including the Tri-Cities like Kitchener, Waterloo, and Cambridge, are still working through all of that reset. So what does that mean actually locally for us in the Tri-Cities? Well, when we look at these markets, the average price over time, you can see the full story clearly. Prices surged early in 2022, then pulled back and have been moving sideways ever since. Not collapsing, not rebounding sharply, just really pretty much stabilizing. And that sideways movement is the market waiting for confidence to return. Looking more closely at different types of properties tells a separate story. For instance, single-family homes hit an all-time high during the summer of 2022 and fell and stabilized during the first half of 2025, while declining between 5 and 6%, depending on the city, during the back half of 2025. Prices are at the fall of 2021 prices now. And townhome prices are also back to October 2021 prices, similar to single-family homes. Condos in the Tri-Cities have seen a significant decline since the peak during the fall of 2022. And since that time, the peak Kitchener in particular has seen the steepest decline, from the median price at the peak at $505,000, decline down to December of 25 to $380,000. And that's a 33% decline in median price. And over the last year, Cambridge condo prices are down about 11%, while Kitchener and Waterloo are down 8.5% to about 9% respectively. So which brings us to the real driver right now. Sales likely found a floor, but confidence really hasn't found it yet. According to Edge Realty Analytics, home sales likely bottomed in Q1 of 2025, and affordability has actually improved. Monthly mortgage payments today are back to roughly late 2021 levels. So here's the surprising part. The last time affordability looked like this, home sales were about 50% higher than they are now. That's really significant. So what's missing then? Well, it's confidence. Why then is confidence the real bottleneck here? Consumer confidence in Canada hit its lowest point in March of 2025, lower than early COVID, lower than the Great Recession of 2008, 2009. So that's really telling us something very, very critical. People can buy, they just don't feel quite ready yet. And markets don't move forward until confidence improves enough so that enough people at the same time will make the move. And confidence was really, really big in 2021, 2022. So that's why rate cuts alone haven't flipped the switch. Inventory is the pressure valve because this is where the story splits. In the Tri-Cities, overall months of inventory are in the 3.5 to 4 month range of inventory. Overall, it looks like a relatively strong, I would say slower seller's market to a more balanced market. But not all segments behave the same way. Condos, as this graph shows, are well in the buyer's market with months of inventory in the 6 to 7 month range, while single family homes are strong with under 3 months of inventory on a rolling 12-month basis. Quite a difference between those two. And townhomes are in between condos and single family homes with 3.5 to 5 months of inventory, depending on where they're located. And with condos, the supply story isn't over yet. Condos remain the most challenged part of the market. Edge Realty's data shows condo inventory will likely stay elevated for at least another year due to ongoing completions for all the new builds that are in progress right now. For condo sellers, this market that rewards realism, not optimism. Single family homes, a different setup for 2026 though. So when we contrast that with single family homes here in Ontario, single family building permits are at their lowest level since 1980. 1980, that's a long time ago. There's no new supply coming. We see this in the Tri-Cities inventory sitting at under 3 months supply. There's hardly really not a lot there. So when you look at building permits in Ontario, it shows building permits for single family homes at 1980s levels. And that's not a headline, that's really a warning light. Low permits today mean fewer homes tomorrow. And Edge Realty expects single family inventory should begin tightening next year as demand slowly returns. This matters especially for the Tri-Cities. What does this mean for retirees with family homes? If you're a retiree or empty nester sitting in a detached or family style home, your position is stronger than it feels. You own a product that's becoming harder to replace. And while condos face excess supply, single family homes are quietly setting up for tighter conditions ahead. And that creates opportunity, especially if you plan your move before the confidence fully returns to take advantage of these dynamics. So what does it mean for buyers then? Well, if you're a buyer, this is one of the rare windows where you have leverage and choice, particularly if you're looking in the condo segment. Negotiations are back, conditions are back, and patience is really rewarded right now. But this window isn't permanent. Economists like Ben Rabideau expect prices to grind higher, not spike, as confidence slowly improves over time. Markets don't ring a bell when they turn around. So why don't we look at population? And population growth has shifted in the short term, and that's really the story. And it's an important backdrop here. Canada's population growth has dropped dramatically from nearly 3% annually to the negative territory. And by the way, 3% annual growth was by far the highest growth of any G7 country. Immigration has fallen from about 1 million people per year to under 200,000 people per year coming to Canada. And that reduces short-term pressure on housing demand, especially condos and rentals. They're the ones that are most impacted by that change in population growth. But it doesn't solve long-term supply issues for well-located family homes. So here's my final thought heading into 2026. This market isn't broken. I would say it's paused. Paused by uncertainty, paused by caution, paused by confidence. The people who will do best in 2026 won't be the ones who waited for perfect conditions. They'll be the ones who planned before the shift. So if you want to help with mapping out what this market means for your next move, that conversation means more now and more than really timing the headlines. And I'm happy to chat about your situation and your goals, because when confidence finally returns, and it will return eventually, it won't return slowly. So thanks for listening to this market update. I have other tips around decluttering and tips for moving, and I'll see you in the next video.